Hello students, today we are going to discuss the topic von Neumann architecture under the subject computer organization and architecture. Okay, so this is the introduction. इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या कर रहे हैं कि जो हमारे वॉन न्यूमन थे, जो एक मैथमेटिशियन और फिजिशियन थे, इन 1945 उन्होंने एक ड्राफ्ट रिपोर्ट तैयार करी थी और उसमें ये बताया था कि बेसिकली जो अगर कोई कंप्यूटर सिस्टम है तो उसके क्या क्या कंपोनेंट्स होने चाहिए, मतलब व्हाट आर दोज फंडामेंटल कंप्यूटर्स जो एक कंप्यूटर सिस्टम को एक प्रोसेसिंग एलिमेंट बनाता है और जो भी उस समय के कैलकुलेशन और कंप्यूटिंग डिवाइसेस से उससे ज़्यादा बेहतर बनाता है। तो ये उन्होंने बताया था वॉन न्यूमन ने। इसीलिए हम जो है वो इस टॉपिक में जो है वो हम क्या पढ़ने जा रहे हैं, वॉन न्यूमन आर्किटेक्चर। क्या है ये वॉन न्यूमन आर्किटेक्चर? बिकॉज इट इज सजेस्टेड और प्रपोज्ड बाय द von Neumann in 1945 in his report. Okay, so the main idea he was given was the concept of stored program. Concept of stored program was given by the von Neumann, and what is that concept of stored program is that along with the data what we want to process from the computer system, along with that we can also store the instruction what we want to give to the or provide to the computer system to get that data processed. Okay, so in the same memory, the along with the data what we can store the programs or instructions or collection of the instructions in the same memory location. Okay, fine. Okay, now in next slide we are going to discuss the what are those fundamental components which in the von Neumann architecture what he was proposed. Okay, so in von Neumann architecture clearly you can see the main component. This is the main component, and this is the what CPU. CPU means the full form of CPU, as you know earlier, that central processing unit. What is the full form of CPU? Central processing unit. And in this unit, these are the two main components: arithmetic logical unit and control unit. Arithmetic logical unit, in short form we can write this arithmetic logical unit as ALU. This is the ALU, and control unit we can write the CU. Okay, so this is the ALU and this is the CU. And for taking the input from outside world, okay, because we need to process the whatever data is provided by us, external user. So from which device or from which thing we can provide the data to the this CPU to process is the input device, and this is the output unit, we can say. An output unit after to get the process data, this is the output unit for the external users. Okay, now this is the main memory. This is the main memory, and whatever concept is suggested or proposed by the von Neumann, the concept of a stored program, it is basically concerned with this main memory. Whatever input is providing to the central processing unit is also resides in this main memory, and the whatever instructions instructions are provided to the main memory also lies in the this same main memory. Okay, so this is the these are the basic components which are suggested by the von Neumann in 1945 in his report as the basic fundamental components for any kind of computer system, whatever we are having, whatever advanced form of computer system we are having in our pocket, handheld devices, or in keeping in our front like laptop, desktop, whatever. Okay, so these are the components. Now by this one by one we are going to discuss these components, like input output subsystem. Input output subsystem, why we are calling this subsystem? Because um, other from the central processing unit, means main system is the central processing unit, and besides that whatever is needed those are coming under the subsystems. Okay, so what this subsystem is doing. So this architecture handles devices that allows the computer system to communicate and interact with the outside world. Communicate and interact with the outside world means clearly it is written that from getting the data from the uh, outside world, this is the outside world, and for communication purpose, and and to get the interaction with the outside world, we need a proper subsystem, or we need a proper system which is known as input output subsystem. Okay, so it is mentioned here that it contains basically two units. One is I/O module, input output module, and second is basically we need a device to process that module to get these two tasks done. Okay, so this is the input output unit basically, and inputs are the signals, what we call the inputs. So inputs are the signals or data received by the system, and outputs are the signals or data sent from it. Okay, so these are the input signals and output signals, and also known as peripheral devices. Input devices, input IO devices. I stands for the input and O stands for the output. So input output devices are also known the uh, peripheral devices. Okay, so this is one component which we discussed here, and next, this slide is showing that uh, I/O module gets data from peripheral while CPU does other work. Okay, CPU does the work of processing, and I/O module is doing the work of interacting and communicating with the outside world. And I/O module interrupts CPU, I/O module interrupts the CPU, and CPU requests for data. I/O module transfers the data. So this is the kind of communication we can say which the CPU and I/O module performs. Okay, so this is the kind of communication, and this point is showing the speed of processing. Means CPU is processing very fast as comparison to the I/O module, and clearly it is mentioned on the basis of analysis that 90% is 90% greater than the I/O speed. Okay, so this is the kind of speed comparison between the central processing unit and our I/O module. So now next point is showing that what are what are the devices which we can put in the input output subsystem. So we very well known that keyboard is the main thing which we can use as an input device for getting any kind of text data, for getting any kind of alphanumeric data. We use the keyboard. Now mouse, by clicking on this device we can, whatever data is resides in our computer system, we can select that data and use for the processing. Scanner is some kind of input output device. Okay, now monitor is basic or output device. Printer to get the hard copies of all kinds of whatever written in our screen.